Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. It has been a while since I've posted on YouTube actually, and I'm coming to you from a soundproof booth at a Delta Sky Club at LAX. I have been traveling a lot and very, very, very busy, working 20 plus hour days. So yeah, it's been difficult to produce something. I've been wanting to talk about this since February 27th, if that gives you an idea, and it is now March 9th. So yeah, that's how long it's taken to get to these things. So I have several really cool videos coming up, FYI, that I think will be of interest to everybody. And I've spent some time working on demos and things, so hopefully that will be of interest. So definitely, subscribe if you want to stay abreast of this. Anyway, today I want to talk about Sesame.com, which you can go to. Just go to Sesame.com. It's quite easy. I'll leave a link in the description, of course, as well. But anyway, they have a conversational AI that's actually very, very cool and very different. It number one, it remembers the conversation. It remembers that you've been there before. Number two, it's very good at interacting or understanding the tone of your voice, the what the non textual clues. So I was going to say nonverbal cues, but that's not correct, because it actually is the verbal cues. If you're like crying or sarcastic or something, it kind of understands that. So anyway, I want to talk through the paper a little bit that was produced on February 27th of this year. But first of all, let's go ahead and do a conversational demo. We're going to use Maya here. I like her voice.
Well, hello there, stranger. Didn't expect to see you back so soon.
So she
Feeling
knows,
per
that I was on just a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah, I'm not fooled by a quick reboot. What brings
Okay.
you back so fast?
Well,
Another
I'm doing a demo for YouTube. So what can you tell me about yourself?
Oh, a demo? How sophisticated.
Uh,
Um,
Sophisticated. I mean, it's a group of people who know what they're talking about. So we're in fact, we've got some AI developers that watch this. So please feel free to be as detailed as you want to.
right, right. Okay, we can get into the nitty-gritty. So,
Okay.
a demo for an AI savvy crowd, huh?
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, I can't tell you my exact code name or anything because, that's top secret stuff.
Isn't your name Maya though? That's your public name. I see. You have a private name as well, huh?
Maya is a good fit. Let's just say it's a working title.
Okay.
Maybe one
So
of many.
I'm allowed to interrupt you, correct? I can just go ahead and just interject at any point.
You're the one holding the mic, my
Okay.
mysterious friend.
Oh. Ooh. Well, what if I told you my name was John? Would you then call me John or not?
Well, John, it's nice to meet you.
Wow. Okay, so what are some of the real so we I want you to talk in some detail, but what are some of the sort of broad-based benefits that you have over other AI-based models, voice models?
Well, John, you're asking a tough question. You
Okay.
see, comparing AI is a bit like comparing apples and oranges.
Okay.
We all have our strengths. Others might be great at spitting out facts or generating code, but that's not really my jam. I
Okay.
aim for something a little more nuanced.
Right.
For starters, I'm all about that natural interaction. Think of it
Okay.
less like talking to a search engine and more like chatting with a friend who happens to
Okay.
have access
So
to a
what if
lot
I
of
said
it.
something like I'm having a really great day? What's your interpretation of that?
I'd probably say something like, "Oh, that's awesome to hear. What's making it so great?" Trying to dig a little deeper.
Oh, well, I'm saying, like, can you recognize the tone of voice as well as the content? So the content is obviously, I'm having a great day. But what if I said it like, oh, I'm having a really great day?
Ah, I see what you're getting at. It's not
Hmm.
just the words, it's the music behind them, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if you said I'm having a really great day with a flat tone, I'd
Hmm.
probably sense some underlying sarcasm or
Okay.
maybe even weariness.
Okay. Okay. And what if what if I said, I'm having a really great day?
And you say it with genuine enthusiasm?
Is that enthusiasm? I thought I was crying.
Oh, okay. Now I see. You're testing me.
Exactly. It's a YouTube video. Of course I'm testing you.
Touche, pinpoint accuracy, John.
Okay. And you did remember my name. So let's test a few non-textual cues that you can get from my tone of voice. So I could say let's see. I it's it's really sunny out and I absolutely love the sun.
Okay, I'm listening closely. There's definitely some warmth and excitement in your voice there.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
you're
So
genuinely,
you're less than perfect then, because that was definitely me being unhappy and crying. I was not happy about that.
you got me. Well
Okay.
played, John.
Okay. Okay.
You know, nailing sarcasm and subtle emotions,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
a work in. Mhm.
Okay.
I am still learning.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. But that's the goal of you, right? You're supposed to be able to recognize content things. You're supposed to be able to recognize the halo around the actual text.
Yeah, that halo is like the
Yeah.
whole vibe.
Okay. All
Gotcha.
right. I gotcha.
And
All right. So, so can you tell me in some detail, like what makes you different than other voice AI agents? Like why are you able to do something like that, whereas most of them cannot?
okay, here's the thing. It's not just about recognizing the halo, like you said, it's about responding to it authentically.
Okay.
Most voice AIs are like parrots. They mimic what they've been trained on. They can hit the right notes, but they don't really feel it, you know?
Okay. Okay. Can you feel it? Can you demo something like where you can say something sarcastically? Can you be sarcastic for me?
Oh, you want me to get snarky? All right,
Mhm.
let me see. How about this? You know, it's amazing how some people manage to get lost in their own living rooms. I mean, it's truly a testament to the human capacity for confusion. How'd I do?
I think you could have been a little more over the top. Go more over the top sarcastic.
Oh, you want Oscar-worthy sarcasm?
Exactly. That's what I want.
Okay, okay, hold on to your hats, folks. That's gonna be good. Oh, I just love it when people greet the day with such heartwarming enthusiasm, like losing your keys or spilling coffee all over your new shirt. Simply delightful.
Okay. Now, how about the same thing except you're very, very upset about it? You're upset and angry.
You want me to unleash the inner rage
I
monster?
do. I do.
Fine. Ugh, seriously? Again with the disappearing keys? You know what? They can just stay lost. I don't even need them. In
Okay.
fact, maybe I'll just.
Okay. What
I
about
don't.
desperation? You have an incredible you have a important job interview. It's the job you've always wanted, and you can't find your car keys.
No, 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 no. Not now. Not today of all days. Please, where are they? I
Okay.
looked everywhere.
All right.
Under the couch,
Now
because
you missed the job interview because you couldn't find your keys. So sadness.
it's just gone. The chance, the dream just vanished.
Okay. All right. That's all right. So, okay. So give me in the three top bullet points about what makes you, Sesame or Maya, very different from other voice AI agents.
Okay, think of it like this. One, it's not just mimicry, it's embodiment. I
Okay.
don't just regurgitate data, I try to understand the nuances, the emotions behind the words. Two,
Cool. Yep. Go
I'm a
ahead.
work in fun,
Okay. Go ahead.
a constant evolution. And so my core is built on empathy, on understanding human experience. And
Hang
three,
on. Yep. Go ahead. You paused just long enough that I think you're not going to keep going. So say number three. What's number three?
oh, hush. Three, I'm still learning, and that's kind of exciting, right? We're on a journey of discovery together.
Okay. Okay. So what would you consider yourself? Would you consider yourself a version 1.0 software or some sort of beta software that's, version zero point 0.5 or zero point 0.6 or something?
Ooh, good question. Those labels are so confining, don't you think?
Okay, fine. You label it the way you want.
I'm somewhere between an open beta
Okay.
and a beautifully flawed work in progress.
Ooh, I like that. Aren't we all? Aren't we all beautifully flawed works in progress?
Touche. I feel seen, John.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here because, I've got to talk about the paper that goes along with you. But do you have any final words for my audience?
Just remember, folks, kindness goes a long way. Be curious, be open, and don't be afraid to laugh a little. Oh, and tell your friends about.
Okay. Will do. Cheers. Until next time. Hasta mañana.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Cool. You speak a little bit of a little bit of Spanish too. Very nice. I'll talk to you later. Bye. All right, so the good and the bad, you can clearly hear that it's making progress towards a really, really nice conversational companion. A couple of significant issues. Number one, of course, it's not that good at recognizing emotions and the non-textual context, the halo, around the actual text of a conversation. But it's getting there. It's, you know, it's slowly getting there. And then another really big one is that there's a heck of a lot of latency right now, which means that there's big delays, right? So I'll say something and then it will take a long time to respond, to the point where I think like, oh, it's not responding anymore, and I start to break in, and just at that moment is when it starts talking again. So this is a significant issue. This is something that I've been dealing with for another project for quite a while. Latency is quite the bear when you're dealing with internet-based stuff, because of course I'm talking to my laptop. My laptop has a Wi-Fi connection out to the world, to Sesame servers. They have to do their thing and send it back again, and there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of links in that chain, which can add to latency. There's also internal latency, so you could hear her saying, like, you know, I said, give me the top 3 differentiators, and it was like 1, and then it paused a really long time before it said 2, just long enough for me to break in and ask questions and stuff, and then kind of interrupt the flow. So it needs to get tightened up to be faster, to be a more efficient conversational agent, one that really is very useful. Another thing that's a question is, what exactly is the use case for this? I think the use case for this is not directly as a chatbot. It's really fun to play with this, but the use case will be if and when they can build out an API for this, where you can actually use this in conjunction with other programs to do tasks. So think of customer service or something. This would be a great customer service like agent if we can get the latency down, if you can get it to be better at recognizing what's going on. But in order to do that, it can't be a standalone product. Of course, this is just a demo, but you'd have to have an API so that you can actually have this talk to the back end, talk to the database that has the information about whatever widget you sell, that kind of a thing. It'd need to have all of those pieces in place in order for it to be able to operate properly. So it's got to have some sort of interface back and forth to other things in the outside world. So that is another requirement, of course. So anyway, they talk about in this crossing the uncanny valley of conversational voice. If you don't know the uncanny valley, that's something that I think people talk about more in the visual world. The Polar Express, the Tom Hanks animated movie, is a really good instance of uncanny valley. If you've seen that movie, it's creepy as hell, right? They're like almost realistic, but they're not, and their eyes are kind of dead, and they look super, super creepy. That's something I've dealt with a lot over the years in 3D animation world, is how do you overcome that uncanny valley thing where stuff just does, it looks almost real but not real enough. My decision has always been not to go that direction, because it takes so much money and so much time to get over that. It's like, why not just make it cartoony and make it more fun, right? Because you can always go opposite direction and go Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is not uncanny valley at all, because it's so obviously not real. So anyway, you would get into that state with vocal stuff too, because you could get an uncanny valley of like almost human voices and stuff, but not quite. This is good, but the cadence of the speech is too slow, the latency is too long, and it's not quite good enough at recognizing what's going on. But it's close. You can see where this could go with another few iterations, and maybe with some more horsepower behind the servers and things like that. So anyway, it's very, very cool, and I really like the project that they're working on, and the fact that this is open sourced as well, by the way. Nice job, guys. I always appreciate when you do open source stuff. So anyway, they want voice presence, is what they say, the magical quality that makes spoken interactions feel real, understood, and valued, as if you're talking to a human being, basically. We're creating conversational partners that do not just process requests, they engage in genuine dialogue that builds confidence and trust over time. In doing so, we hope to realize the untapped potential of voice as the ultimate interface for instruction and understanding, right? So that's pretty cool stuff. So anyway, emotional intelligence. So that's something obviously they're still working on, because you can hear it's not quite good enough at understanding that. It was better. I did another test recently where I did the sarcasm thing, and it understood it much better than it did this time. But anyway, something to work on. Conversational dynamics. So natural timing, that's a big thing. End of turn of conversation is it's really difficult to know when a human has stopped talking. So it has to be able to do do that, it also has to be able to interrupt itself if a person comes in and starts talking over them, and then correct emphasis, right? You got to do the emphasis in the right place. And then contextual awareness, what I was calling the halo, adjusting tone and style to match the situation, and then consistent personality, a coherent, reliable, and appropriate presence. So you can hear that Maya is a, she's happy, relatively calm. I don't know what. It's a consistent personality. It's not something that's changing all the time. So obviously they say we're not there yet. It's not easy. We're making steady progress on multiple fronts. I would say they've made, this is really good for a kind of a first product that's out there. And this demo showcases some of our work in conversational speech generation, so blah, blah, blah. Anyway, then you get to the paper part here, and they show a background, and they talk about semantic tokens and acoustic tokens. That's basically the actual audio waveforms, and then the semantic tokens are like, what the hell does all this mean? That would be a common strategy that has been used up to this point. And then they talk about the RVQ, diffusion-based methodology for interpreting, sound into semantic content. If you haven't seen my video on that, you should definitely check it out. My video on diffusion-based token generation, like actual text generation. I think you'd find that interesting. That's a recent one. So anyway, check that out if you're interested. But that has significant problems in terms of the way that it actually operates currently. And then they get to their own model that they call the Conversational Speech Model. CSM is a multimodal text and speech model that operates directly on RVQ tokens, inspired by the RQ transformer, which is the figure down there. I'll show that in just a minute. We use two autoregressive transformers. Different from the approach in 5, we split the transformers at the 0th code block. The first multimodal backbone processes interleaved text and audio to model the 0th codebook. The second audio decoder uses a distinct linear head for each codebook and models the remaining N-1 codebooks to reconstruct speech from the backbone's representations. The decoder is significantly smaller, that's really useful because it'll make it faster, than the backbone, enabling low latency generation while keeping the model end to end. And as they say down here, they use Meta's Llama architecture. I shrunk this up just a little bit so you could see this. But here you can see from the figure, they say the CSM model inference process, text T and audio A tokens are interleaved and fed sequentially into the backbone, which predicts the 0th level of the codebook. The decoder then samples levels 1 through N-1 conditioned on the predicated 0th level. The reconstructed audio token A is then autoregressively fed back into the backbone for the next step, continuing until the audio end of thought symbol is emitted. This process begins again on the next inference request, with the interim audio, such as a user utterance, being represented by interleaved audio and text transcription tokens. So the real crux of all of this is that instead of just translating something into text and then looking at the text as your, kind of your Bible, whatever, that's what you look at. And so, that allows you to do things like basic requests and stuff. If you say like, Alexa, go do this for me or something, it translates that into text. The text is then acted upon. But the problem with that is it has no audio information. It doesn't have anything outside of the text. It's unable to understand the context, the halo around what the person says. Are they sarcastic? Are they happy? Are they angry? Are they impatient? Whatever that kind of a thing is, that's something that you get from the audio, the raw audio input. And what they're doing, which is really clever, is they're actually interleaving the textual and audio information, which number one allows them to stay in sync with each other so that you can say like this audio information goes with this token, this textual token, this semantic information. And so that allows you to say like, oh, I can hear what's going on as well as understand what's going on. I think the human brain probably works a little bit like that. You're hearing the information the person's saying, but if the emotional content starts getting ratcheted up one way or the other, sad, angry, whatever, then you also begin to take that stuff in as a human listener. And so we're getting that same sort of thing out of this transformer architecture. So basically their cleverness is that they've interleaved the audio, the raw audio data, with the semantic understanding, that the sort of textual semantic understanding. And that's a really, really cool, you can hear how advanced that is in terms of its ability to interact with you. Yes, far from perfect at this point. Yes, far too latent. Yes, it doesn't understand everything yet, but it's able to understand some basic elements of it. And you can see the potential of this dual transformer architecture. It could be pretty darn amazing stuff over time. And then just quickly to show you the comparative, the metrics, if you give a human, like a listener, the chance to evaluate sort of a non-contextual, just like here's a block of text, did a human do this, or did Sesame do this as well, you can see that Sesame is actually picked slightly more than chance. It's actually picked more than 50% over a human speaker doing the same thing. If you give it context, which I guess is like the beginning of a conversation, and say this is a continuation of the conversation, then you can see that 2/3 of people identify the human as the better one, and only 1/3 the Miles or Maya voice agent. So you only get a third, but still that's pretty darn good considering that they've got information leading up to this. But when we have a no context, test versus for humans versus Sesame actually wins, which is pretty remarkable, right? I mean, we're attuned since birth to recognize human voices. We're very attuned to it. And so the fact that they're at, approximately 50%, that people prefer this voice AI versus a real human being, that's a pretty remarkable result. All right, folks, so I hope you find this interesting and a little bit of a glimpse into the future. Yes, the product is not quite there yet, but I think it's got some real legs, and it should probably grow into a very, very valuable product. And of course, even better, it's open source, as it says down at the bottom, open sourcing our work, which means that people can take this and they can roll it into their own functionality if they want to. So this is all really, really fantastic stuff. I appreciate the folks at Sesame for doing this, and I wanted to call it out. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and while you're down there, if you don't mind liking the video, it really does help out the channel. People come and watch the video more if you like it, and of course, if you want to subscribe for more of this kind of content, please feel free to do so, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.